This appears when the universe decides it's your time. You may not understand what this is yet, but it's already moving through you. Something invisible begins to shift, quietly, mysteriously. You wake up one morning, and the world doesn't look the same. The same people, the same streets, the same routines. But suddenly, everything feels distant, almost unreal, as if life is whispering, "It's time." When the universe decides it's your time, it doesn't send you an invitation. It doesn't knock politely on your door. It begins by shaking the foundations of your certainty. Everything you once believed to be solid begins to dissolve. The plans, the ambitions, the relationships, even the identity you've built for years, they all start trembling. Not because something is wrong, but because something deeper is about to emerge. It's strange, isn't it? You think you are losing control, when in truth, you are being guided. You think your life is falling apart, when actually it is falling into place. The universe has its own rhythm, its own mysterious way of aligning things. But human beings, we are impatient. We want to know the meaning before living the experience. We want the map before taking the first step. We want light without entering the darkness, and that's why the universe waits. It waits until your resistance weakens, until the noise of your mind becomes unbearable. Until your heart begins to whisper louder than your logic. Only then, when the outer world can no longer distract you, the inner world opens its gates. This is when something appears, something you cannot name. A restlessness, perhaps, or a sudden stillness, an intuition, a dream, a coincidence that feels too perfect to be random. You might think it's chance, but there is no such thing as chance in the language of existence. Everything is a message, waiting for your awareness to awaken to it. I have seen it happen countless times. A man who thought his life was over suddenly begins to laugh for no reason. A woman who had given up on love suddenly finds peace in solitude. Nothing external changed, yet everything changed. When the universe decides it's your time, you are pulled from the surface of life into its depth. You are no longer living on the edges. You are being invited into the center. And this invitation, it never comes with comfort. It comes with chaos. Because comfort belongs to the known, and the universe only works through the unknown. It destroys what you have built, not to punish you, but to free you from the prison of your own creation. You ask, "Why me?" And the universe replies, "Because you are ready." But the mind does not accept this easily. The mind wants reasons. It wants explanations, logic, patterns. And the universe, it laughs. It has no obligation to make sense to your limited understanding. It operates from a dimension where logic has no authority, where mystery is not a problem to be solved, but the very essence of life itself. If you pay attention, you'll notice the signs. You'll see how everything starts aligning with a precision beyond human planning. People appear at the right moment. Books fall from shelves. Words spoken by strangers seem to carry messages meant only for you. The old self begins to die silently, and a new awareness starts breathing through your being. Don't fight it. Don't try to control what is unfolding. You cannot force the flower to bloom by pulling its petals. When the universe decides it's your time, surrender becomes your greatest power. Because surrender is not defeat, it is trust. Trust that existence knows you better than you know yourself. And that is the secret. The universe doesn't make mistakes. It only waits, patiently, silently, for the moment you are ripe enough to awaken. When the universe decides it's your time, the first thing it destroys is your illusion of control. And this is the most terrifying experience for the mind. Because the mind has built its entire kingdom upon control, upon the belief that it knows where it's going, that it knows what's best, that it can manage the unpredictable. But existence is not a machine. It's a mystery, and mystery cannot be managed. You can only dance with it. That's why when your time comes, life begins to remove the structures that kept you asleep. It may take away your job, your relationship, your plans, not because it wants you to suffer, but because suffering is sometimes the only language you still understand. You won't move toward the unknown unless the known becomes unbearable. People ask me, why does awakening hurt so much? And I tell them, because you have identified yourself with what is dying. The pain you feel is not coming from life, it's coming from your attachment to what life is trying to take away. You are being peeled layer by layer until only truth remains. Have you ever seen how a snake sheds its skin? It looks painful, but it's necessary. The snake does not cling to the old layer because it knows if it doesn't let go, it will suffocate inside what once protected it. You too are shedding. Every crisis, every heartbreak, every disappointment, they are part of this sacred process of shedding. The universe is not punishing you. It is liberating you from a self that has expired. But the human mind wants to hold on. It keeps repeating, I want my old life back. Yet look closely. Do you really want your old life back? Or do you want to escape the uncertainty of not knowing what comes next? This is the paradox. You say you want transformation, but you resist change. You pray for awakening, but when awakening arrives, you call it chaos. You ask for light, but you run away from the fire that creates it. Listen to me. The universe is not against you. It is you, in a higher form, trying to wake yourself up. When I say the universe decides, I do not mean there is someone sitting in the clouds making decisions about your destiny. It is not a person. It is a total intelligence. The same intelligence that turns a seed into a flower, that moves the tides, that spins the galaxies. It is the same force that beats your heart without you commanding it. You are not separate from this intelligence. You are its expression. So when the universe decides it's your time, it simply means that your deeper self, the one hidden beneath layers of fear and habit, has reached maturity. You may not be aware of it, but the fruit knows when it is ripe. The tree doesn't decide. The fruit falls by itself. And yet your mind will resist, it will scream, it will fight, it will create stories of betrayal and injustice. It will say, why now? Why me? Why this? But eventually, even the mind gets tired of its own noise. And in that exhaustion, something beautiful happens. Silence. That silence is the beginning of understanding. Because in that silence, you are not trying to fix anything. You're not analyzing, not comparing, not escaping. You are simply here, raw, open, undefended. And for the first time, you can hear the whisper of the universe within you. It does not speak in words. It speaks in energy, in synchronicity, in moments that make your heart tremble. A song on the radio, a chance encounter, a sudden clarity in the middle of despair. These are its ways of saying, you are on the path. Keep walking. And yet, you doubt, because you have been trained to trust logic more than intuition. But intuition is the language of existence. Logic can only deal with what is already known. Intuition reveals what has never been seen before. When your time comes, your intuition will start to awaken like an old friend returning after a long absence. You'll begin to feel rather than think. You'll start to see patterns where before there was only chaos. The same events that once looked meaningless will begin to shimmer with a strange order. That is the universe teaching you its secret alphabet, the silent code that connects all things. But be careful. Do not try to decode it with your mind. The mind will only create confusion. Just allow it to unfold. Watch how life begins to move through you with grace, even when it looks messy. Because grace is not about smoothness. It's about authenticity. Remember this, when the universe decides it's your time, it doesn't send comfort. It sends truth. And truth always feels uncomfortable at first, because it burns everything false. When the universe decides it's your time, surrender becomes not a choice, but an inevitability. You can fight for a while. The ego always tries to. It wants to remain the master. It says, I know what is best for me. But life has a strange way of proving that you do not. Every time you resist the current, you only exhaust yourself. And sooner or later, the current carries you anyway. Have you noticed? All your greatest transformations happened not when you were in control, but when you finally gave up pretending to be in control. The moment you stopped running, something within you relaxed, and what was meant for you could finally reach you. This is the paradox of surrender. When you let go, life begins to work for you, not against you. When you trust, the doors that seemed closed begin to open, not because you forced them, but because you aligned yourself with the rhythm of the universe. But the mind still whispers, if I surrender, I will lose myself. Yes, you will. And that is the whole point. The self you lose is the false one, the accumulation of borrowed beliefs, fears, ambitions, expectations. That self has been your armor, but also your cage. The moment it begins to dissolve, you start to taste freedom for the first time. People come to me and say, Osho, I am afraid of losing who I am. And I tell them, you cannot lose what you truly are. You can only lose what you are not. When the universe decides it's your time, it begins to separate the real from the unreal within you. It takes away everything that was not born out of authenticity, and the more you cling, the more painful it becomes. Pain is not a punishment, it's resistance. You suffer only because you are fighting with the flow of existence. You call it destiny. I call it your own misunderstanding of life. You see, existence has no interest in your comfort. It is interested in your awakening. And awakening never happens in comfort. It happens when everything familiar is stripped away and you are left naked before the truth. That nakedness is your liberation. Because for the first time, there is nothing left to hide behind. You cannot perform anymore, you cannot pretend. You are simply there, vulnerable, transparent, real. In that state, something extraordinary begins to happen. A subtle intelligence, a silent joy, a deep peace starts flowing through you. You begin to feel as if you are being breathed by the universe, rather than doing the breathing yourself. You walk, but it feels like the earth is moving you. You speak, but the words come from somewhere beyond your understanding. This is not imagination, this is alignment. This is the moment you stop being a separate entity and start becoming an expression of the whole. The universe does not need your permission to flow through you. It only needs your openness. And when you are open, life becomes effortless. Not easy, effortless. There's a difference. Ease is of the mind. Effortlessness is of the soul. Ease wants comfort. Effortlessness accepts the totality, the dark and the light, the joy and the pain, the birth and the death. When you live in this state, synchronicities multiply. You start meeting the right people at the right time, arriving at places you didn't plan, finding answers you never asked for. It's as if existence is moving its pieces perfectly around you. And it is. But the beauty is, it was always doing that. You just couldn't see it before because your eyes were clouded by fear and expectation. Fear blinds you. Expectation blinds you. Desire blinds you. But awareness opens your eyes. When awareness dawns, you realize that nothing in your life was ever random. Even your mistakes were part of the plan. Even your heartbreaks were teachers. Even your failures were disguised blessings. When the universe decides it's your time, every experience, pleasant or painful, becomes sacred. Because you begin to see the invisible hand behind every event. And then gratitude arises. Not the gratitude that says, thank you for the good things, but the gratitude that says, thank you for everything. That is the highest form of intelligence, to trust life completely. You stop asking why and start saying yes. This yes is the sound of enlightenment. It is the ultimate prayer, not to a God outside, but to existence itself. Yes means, I accept, I trust, I flow. And once you say yes deeply, totally, life reveals its secrets to you. It becomes intimate, alive, almost personal, as if the entire cosmos has leaned closer, whispering, now you understand. When the universe decides it's your time, the destruction is only half the story. What follows is rebirth. But this rebirth doesn't come with fireworks. It arrives quietly, like dawn after a long night. The noise of the world fades, and for the first time you begin to sense a different kind of light, a light that doesn't come from the sun, but from within. You may not notice it immediately. You might still be mourning the old, the lost dreams, the familiar patterns, the people who no longer fit your vibration. But underneath that grief, something is slowly being born. A new awareness, subtle and fragile at first, like a tender shoot pushing through the soil. And if you stay still long enough, you will feel it. A peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, a joy that has no reason, a love that asks for nothing in return. This is the fragrance of your being, the natural perfume of existence when you stop interfering with it. The mind cannot comprehend this new state. It tries to label it contentment, spiritual awakening, healing, but none of those words are adequate. What is happening is beyond language. It is the meeting of you and the whole after lifetimes of separation. It is like the drop remembering. It was never separate from the ocean. You realize then that you were never lost. You were only dreaming. The universe didn't need to find you. It needed you to wake up. And when you wake up, you see that everything you were searching for was already within you, waiting for recognition. When the universe decides it's your time, it's not giving you something new. It's taking away what prevents you from seeing what has always been there. The old self disappears, and yet you remain. But now you are different. You move differently. You speak differently. You see differently, because now everything is sacred. Even the smallest things, the way sunlight touches the wall, the sound of rain, the rhythm of your breath, all become holy moments. You begin to live with awareness, not because someone taught you to, but because awareness becomes your nature. You no longer chase experiences. You are the experience. You no longer search for meaning. You are meaning. This is the secret the mystics tried to share, the poets tried to describe, the enlightened ones tried to point toward, but no words can contain it, because it's not an idea. It's a state of being. You have become transparent. The universe now flows through you effortlessly. You are no longer a drop separate from the ocean. You are the ocean expressing itself as a drop. People may look at you and say, "Something about you has changed," and you will smile, because you know nothing changed, only illusion disappeared. You begin to live from a place of deep intuition. You no longer plan in fear. You act in alignment. You no longer force. You allow. And life, in turn, responds with synchronicities so perfect that you realize you never needed to control anything. Now when challenges come, you do not panic. You watch, you breathe, you listen, you ask, "What is this teaching me?" And the answer always comes, not through thought, but through silence, because silence has become your home. It is strange how the same life that once felt chaotic now feels harmonious, even though nothing outside has really changed. The people are the same, the city is the same, the noise is the same, but you are no longer reacting from the same place. You have discovered the still point within the storm, and this is the ultimate gift of when the universe decides it's your time. You become untouchable by the outer. You begin to live from the center, not the circumference. From this center, everything that happens, joy, loss, success, failure, becomes just movement on the surface. The depth within you remains untouched, and from this depth, compassion arises naturally. Because now you can see that everyone is on the same journey. Some still asleep, some half awake, some struggling with their own storms. You see their pain, but you no longer judge. You recognize yourself in them. You understand that the same force guiding you is guiding them too. You stop trying to change people, to fix them, to awaken them, because you realize the universe will decide their time, just as it decided yours. Your only task is to remain awake, to live as a reminder of what is possible when one stops fighting with existence. That is how transformation spreads, not by preaching, but by presence. When the universe decides it's your time, you become a mirror, and whoever looks into you, and even for a second, begins to remember their own light. When the universe decides it's your time, it's not about destiny, it's about readiness. It's about alignment between your soul and the great intelligence that breathes through everything. It is not random, not personal, not a reward or a punishment. It is simply the moment when your inner season changes. Everything in existence moves by seasons. The trees, the stars, the tides, even your awakening. Winter cannot become spring before its time, but when the moment comes, no force in the world can stop the flowers from blooming. So if you are listening to these words and something inside you trembles, perhaps this is your spring. Perhaps this is the moment the universe is whispering, "Now." Do not run away. Do not ask for proof. Do not wait for permission. Life never repeats this exact moment again. This is your invitation to trust what you feel, even if it defies everything you have been taught. Because intuition is the compass of the soul, and the universe always speaks through the quiet voice of your own being. When the universe decides it's your time, it begins to erase the boundaries you thought were real. You start to see that separation was only a dream. You were never outside of life. You are life. You were never disconnected from love. You are love. You were never waiting for the divine. You are the divine expressing itself as a human being, and once this is seen, there is no going back. You will still live, still laugh, still cry, but everything will be different. You will not cling. You will not demand, you will not fear endings, because you will have tasted the eternal. You will walk through life as if it were a meditation, every step, every breath, every heartbeat, an offering to existence. You will no longer seek to be special, because you will understand that the ordinary itself is sacred. You may look around and see that the world is still asleep. People chasing illusions, fighting over shadows, trying to prove their worth to a world that is not even watching. And you will feel compassion, not superiority, because you will remember how long you too were asleep. And you will wait, patiently, lovingly, knowing that the universe will call each one when the moment is right. You may be the only awakened one in a crowd, or you may be surrounded by others who vibrate in silence. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you live as a light, even if you never speak of it, because your presence itself becomes a transmission. When you walk into a room, something changes. People feel a peace they cannot explain. They feel safe, they feel seen. Not because you do anything, but because you have become transparent enough for the universe to shine through. That is the purpose of awakening. Not to escape life, but to embody it fully. Not to run from the world, but to love it from a place of clarity. And that is what it means when the universe decides it's your time. It is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of living consciously. It is the moment when existence begins to live through you, instead of you trying to live existence. The same life that once frightened you now becomes your companion. You begin to see that everything, the laughter, the tears, the chaos, the peace, is a divine dance, and you are both the dancer and the dance itself. So when the next challenge comes, when life removes something precious, when uncertainty returns, remember this: the universe is not taking from you, it is preparing you. Everything is a teacher, and every experience is a doorway. Walk through them fearlessly, because the universe never calls you before you are ready. And if you are hearing this now, it means you are ready. So close your eyes. Take a breath. Feel the silence that lives beneath all sound. That silence, that vast infinite presence, is the universe within you waiting to be remembered. When it decides it's your time, nothing can stop it. And perhaps that time is now. If this truth touched something in you, stay with it. Don't rush to analyze, don't rush to label it. Just be with it. Let the silence do what words cannot. And if you feel this awakening calling from within, share your light. Speak from your heart. Live with awareness. Let your very presence remind others that existence has perfect timing. If these words resonated with you, leave a piece of your heart here, in the form of reflection, of gratitude, of truth. Because what touches you deeply today may awaken someone else tomorrow. And remember, the universe is never late. It always arrives precisely when you are ready to listen.